Hey farms, once again, welcome to my channel. This is your one and only favorite relationship talk pastor, Jennifer Tosin-K, aka your celebrity pastor. Guess what I'm bringing on the table to you tonight? After sex, what next? If you know this is your first time in this community, please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow my Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as we bring new content to you. Don't forget, it's your one and only favorite relationship talk pastor, Jennifer, aka that's your celebrity pastor. So welcome to my show tonight. With me here is my one and only handsome Mr. Obi.
Guys, I'm privileged and excited to be here today. And let's see how we can take this to another level tonight.
So as you can see, my Mr. Handsome, for those of you who have been eyeing him, don't forget, you can see the signboard. All right, so after sex, what next?
Pounded yam and soup and go sleep.
Really?
Yes, that's
so. After the sex, the bang bang, orgasm, those
time to pass.
You know, there's been this narrative in relationships that a lot of people had always complained about. Some complain about things like he asked me for sex. The reason why I'm out of the relationship was because he asked me for sex and I didn't give him the sex. And some also complain that after I'd given him my whole body, and now look at what it has turned out to be. So it means even those who gave themselves in sex and those who did not give themselves into the sex in the relationship, both of them are complaining of heartbreaks. So what do you think could be the issue?
The problem is that many people that are not yet married, they used to carry this sex like egg, as if it's the only thing about marriage. Then when they now get married, they now find out that the sex, they have to now be intentional about it. They have to see a way to making it work in the first place. They now realize that there are other things that need to be worked on in that relationship, like communication, like conflict resolution, dealing with their lives, with their family life, their finances, and many other things. They begin to discover that, this sex thing that we took as an idol is not the real thing. So at the end of the day, people just instead of people to focus on the other things that help their relationship, like working on their communication, working on how they resolve conflict when they have conflict with each other, they are just guiding. I don't want to have sex. I want to have sex. And then some, they say they don't want to have sex. What they are saying they don't want to have sex is penetration sex, but they've done every other thing. That
like they have oral sex, all that kind of sex, romance, and all of that.
Press, everything they've done. Only penetration sex they've not done. That's they're not anything called sex. You're just deceiving yourself. So, but the point is that whether you give in sex before or you don't give in sex after, the truth about the matter is that the guy wants to still leave you, he will still leave you. Because why? Because sex is not really the determining factor of a quality relationship. So it's not about sexual compatibility, but it's about relational compatibility. How compatible are you guys, both in your intellect, both in your goals, both in your passions, both in your drives, both in the things you want to do together. That's what really matters at the end of the day. So if I may ask, do you think all men need sex in relationships? Which type of relationship?
Relationships, romantic relationships. Yes, I understand that we have diverse kind of relationships and all of that, but right now we're talking about relationships on bed, relationships, romantical relationships. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
So now, do you think it's every man that would want to have that, sexual intimacy with whoever they want to, take it up to have for a keep?
Yes, definitely, because naturally, as long as there's blood flowing through your body, you always have sexual urges. Even when you're not even with a woman, even as a man normally, you experience sexual urges even as you're grown up as a child. It's part of nature, it's part of how God has designed us, but the thing about it is that when it comes to it's just like fire, right? Fire is very good, fire can be very bad. So in the same way, how you use this wonderful thing called sex also matters too as well. We see, but and like I'm saying, right? This sex matter is not just is like, it's not the thing that we should focus and spend all our time. I don't touch it. 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 At the end of the day, you don't even focus on building intimacy. Focus on building communication skills. Focus on building
commitment in relationship.
You know, resolving conflicts. When you don't agree with each other, how do you handle those kind of situations? You know, how do you handle your finance? How do you handle your things together? You know, there are other things. There are many other things.
So, and also a lot of ladies have been complaining, like, you know, there's this thing that a lot of people believe in. Once a man had sex with you, what else is left? So do you think it's because the man had already had his own share of sex from the lady that most of this relationship crash, probably maybe what we call see finish, came into place? Do you think it's advisable for you to give in sexual relationship in your relationships? In their relationship?
The truth about the matter is that when you get sexually involved, and listen, when I say sexually involved, I'm not just talking about when you have done penetration with that person. Even sexting, carry phone, people are sexting, you have done everything. I'm talking about the old dynamics when it comes to sex. It's part of it too. So even when you do, you have to. So if you know, if you say no sex, that will be no sex both in phone and both in physical. And you know, like even in your mind, your thoughts, the way you can see somebody, but you are seeing the person naked already. You know, you are still having sex with the person.
So do you call that sex?
Yes, it's still sex.
No. See, you know, sometimes in most relationships, right, when the relationship begins, the enthusiasm is there.
Yes.
Everybody, what is all about, you know, the whole thing is so new, smooshing, you know, the
thing is fresh.
You know, dating back to back.
It's pounded, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So if you look at it very well, most of the time, after all of these enthusiasms, right, just give them maybe like 2 to 3 months. Sometimes could exceed up to like 4 months. But you know, after then, they are, because of the sex they've been indulged into, they become fogged. And now, what comes after being fogged, especially for we women that are very emotional, when we are into a relationship, we feel we are in. Every woman wants to go into a relationship not because she wants to come out of the relationship. She's into the relationship because she's already trying to see a future with the man. But you know, divert is the case, because a lot of men, they have this mentality like, okay, I love this girl, I like this girl, I'm attracted to this girl, and I'm going in for this girl. And maybe after all of those, you know, enthusiasm ends, and then what is next is, what can the woman bring as a value on the table? You know, when that is lacking, that's when you start having some kind of, you know, cracky relationships. Things will start happening, because now, from my own observation, I've come to realize that a lot of men are not just in just for the sexual aspect of the relationship alone. They are in for maybe other benefits that the woman can bring into their lives. So now, in a situation whereby in a society, sex has become the order of the day. So imagine that this relationship that was working great all of a sudden got crashed. The first thing that comes into the girl's mind is, after all that I've given in, meaning she had given herself into the sexual relationship with the guy. So she's emotionally bonded and attached to the guy. And now the guy is not seeing any other thing rather than the sex the girl is bringing on the decks.
Yeah.
So now the guy wants more. So now, if you look at this after sex, what next? Do you think it is okay for young ladies to actually go into sexual relationships with a man in their relationships?
Okay, I understand now. Now the word, if I'm to advise, I would advise not to get involved. But now the thing is that there are also cases of people who have gotten involved before they took their relationship to the next level, and they still got married, and they are still doing fine.
Yeah.
And there are those who even get involved at all. Even after they got married, they still ended up ending the marriage. Why? Because at the end of the day, all the person could bring to that marriage or before the marriage was only sex. That's all. And it's not sex that will raise your children. It's not sex that will bring food to the house. It's not sex that will deal with issues. It's not sex that there are many things that sex will not do. Sex will give you pleasure, of course, be exciting, but you'll be very happy, you'll feel relaxed, but that's all you get from it. So at the end of the day.
So with this, do you think sex is important?
Sex is important because it makes you feel good. I mean, just like eating food is very important, but food is not everything. Sex also is not the real thing, that's not the main thing as well as you all be looking for. And you know the funny part about this whole thing? You see singles, right, who are about to get married, all their mates, man, this sex, I must do this. Then the ones that are now married, they're not telling them why people not having sex, why people not having sex. That's always the issue. Because why? Because they think that, and this how the human being is so tricky. Like when you're about to buy something that you have dreamt of, and then your mind, you are dreaming about it, thinking about it. Every time you are driving, you see it. Then the day you get it, after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, all those desires are gone. You see, like when you buy a new car, and then you're driving a new car, and then after a while, the car doesn't become normal to you. That's the same thing as well. Then at that point, that's when you now become more intentional. You have to plan for it. You have to design. You have to strategize to ensure that thing continues. So the most important thing is that after sex, you need to ensure that you have more value to bring in, because you'll not be doing sex 24/7, but you'll be living life 24/7. There's many things you'll be doing to your life. So,
but if you look at it, if not for finish, sex is supposed to be 24/7.
24/7.
Yes, because
won't you go to work?
No.
Won't you go to office?
You will go to work.
Won't you go to bathroom?
Well, we go to the bathroom. When I mean 24/7, I don't mean that. It's more like an exaggeration, okay? So it means sex should be frequent.
You will not get
because
that.
Because if you look at so many relationships today, marital relationship, what causes a lot of divorce in many marriages is sex. One of the biggest problem in every marriage is lack of sex. If you look at women that are sexually serviced in a marriage, they do better, they glow, they look good. And if you look at the reason why God actually created sex, if you look at sex is a bonding that brings both the male and the female together. And that's the reason why you see that people who indulge into sex before marriage in their relationships, even when they find out that they are not compatible in certain area and they cannot live together, patching off is always a difficult thing for them to do. So now, if you say, okay, don't have sex before marriage, how about when you say don't have sex before marriage? People who did not even test the sex or have anything to do with the sex are having big issues in their marriage, because one, they get to find out that the man's sexual libido is higher than that of theirs, or theirs is higher than that of the man. And then also, some men who are not transparent and honest could be impotent, but because they say don't have sex before marriage, they get into the marriage and find a lot of loopholes that are hanging in the relationship. So now that is why you see that in the society, a lot of women, a lot of men have these younger ones actually have come out with a mindset of trying to test the waters before they go into the main deal. So now in the process of it, when it doesn't work, then it becomes an issue. Yeah. So now, if sex is not meant to be tested before the marriage, how should they handle sex in their relationship?
Okay, I understand. Well, the truth of the matter is that if you decide by your own willpower that I will not do it, you can see, so anything can happen. You can still fall, you can still make a mistake about it. So but what I'm going to say is there are certain things that you can do, in terms of that. First, that's why if you're about to get married, it's important that you seek the advice of a counselor or a therapist or somebody who can really mentor both of you through those conversations. And another important thing is you have to be very as honest as possible and transparent. If you have a medical condition, the person you want to get married to, you should let the person know that I have this issue. Maybe you have this particular kind of infection or something. Because at the end of the day, if you don't tell the person will still get to find out in the future. And if they find out, they may decide either to forgive you or not to forgive you. You see their choice. You kind of really never told them in the first place. So it's better to be honest. If they can't stay with you, let them go. If that person they see impotent, for instance. Impotent is not like a death sentence. It can still be there are still many ways to go around it. So you tell the person, I can work things out together and see that things get better. But when it comes to the aspect of taste now, let me talk about that one. For me, there's no it's like a lady I say, Kai, before I get married, I want to see penis inside the guy's body to be sure that it's working well. That's how to see stand. Now my own is, if two of you are actually in love, like you came to be in love, can you just see it and then you say it's okay, you can wear your trouser back? That's my own. I tell me that nothing will happen. Of course, that's what I see myself. Something must happen. You get my point? Because why? There's emotional connection.
Okay.
There's emotional connection. There's love connection. So it's not like a stranger or like somebody. It's one that you have held.
And that's why the Christendom, like, they always have this mindset of you shouldn't do a relationship that will last anything more than 6 months to 1 year.
Oh, this kind of
yes, exactly.
And that's again what we also find out based on statistics also. We realize that people who indulge in sexual relation before getting married, most of them, a high percentage of those people never stay faithful when they get married, because they never pass the test of being faithful before the marriage. So if they could do it before marriage, even when they get married, they still be unfaithful to their spouse.
But when you bring in this faithfulness that you're talking about right now, sometimes in the aspect of women, let me just hit on that part. Sometimes when you talk about faithfulness,
okay,
is it possible? Because from what you're saying, you're equally trying to say because maybe they've had sex in the past, so of course they will not be faithful in their marriage.
I just say a high percentage.
Okay, a high percentage. Okay, from my own statistics, from what I've seen in the past, a lot of women, even pastors' wives that I've heard that have indulged into extramarital affairs, is because of the lack of sex in that marriage. There's no woman that is giving sex in a marriage and we still go out of the marriage to go and have sex. What will you say in a marriage that a whole year, 2 years will pass without the both of them having sex? The man is not always available to give the woman sex. So what will you say if there is such kind of woman goes out to look for sex? What will be your advice to the family?
Yeah, my advice to the family.
Yes, now of course it's a family now, spouse.
Okay, that's
because of course the woman is not being fed with sex. 1 year passed, 2nd year passed, and then she just left like that. And then of course women they like attention. Anybody that is giving them attention, that's where they wire their energy to.
Yeah.
So now the man is always claiming he's busy, or probably the man is masturbates, and the man does not even feed the wife with sex. Of course, the wife cannot go and hijack the man and say, okay, I need you to give me sex. No, it has to be mutual, right? So what if another man comes from outside and is having sex with the woman? Would you say it's because she had sex in relationships before she got married that she's going out? Because there are a lot of virgins who were married, virgins. They never had sex, any penetration with any man in their life before they got married. But after marriage, something lured them into it.
Okay. Now the thing is that if for instance you have a man who loves his spouse and is not having sex with the wife, there are so many parameters around that from both sides. There's the side from the man, also the side from the woman. For instance, if let's say for instance if the woman is unhappy, for instance, you cannot get her to have sex with you for
that's correct. Absolutely.
Right? And then even though the woman is happy, the man too, if the woman too is not doing certain things that will really entice him for sex also, may not be to have sex with her as well. Maybe for instance, he's in the house, she doesn't dress to entice the husband. She doesn't do any sexual act whatsoever, just there by saying tie wrapper and all those kind of activities. The man will get bored because men are moved by what they see. So if the man is not seeing anything that is enticing him, nothing his body to also be aroused as well, in the same way too. So the parameters on both sides are very important. I mean, I've heard of, sometimes if the wife is doing something offensive to the husband, or the husband is doing something offensive to the wife, of course, when there's no peace or harmony or love in that environment, those things will not happen. And also too, when it comes to, like I said, in marriage, right, sex is more intentional than before marriage. Before marriage, it's spontaneous. Everything just happens. It just happens. But when it comes to marriage, sex now has to be intentional. Just the same way you cannot just say it just happened that ate food. That's the way when it comes to sex too, it has to be intentional. So and then that's where the people who are married now get confused, because they are thinking it's supposed to be the way it was before they got married or after they got married, those early days. Not realizing that now this thing has to really be systematic. You have to do things, to entice the other person. Many things that you have to, kind of plays you do, kind of activities you do, just so that two of you can get along. That's the reason. That's one of the reasons why many people who get married never actually have sex at the end of the day. You find out that they get married and they don't have sex, but they're fine, because they are still thinking that the way it was when they started the marriage is going to be the same, but it's not that way. So that's why even in marriage too, love is not just an emotion anymore. Before marriage, you can be emotional to the person, be feeling the butterflies in your body, be feeling you can't sleep in the night. As you're sleeping, your heart is beating. But when you marry, after you go 1, 2, 3 years, all those things will start to go off, and the person now wonder, I don't love the person anymore. No, now you realize that love is a decision. You now realize that sex too is a decision too when you get married. So these are some of the reasons why people.
So why would sex be a decision to somebody that you love?
Good. Now, in the same way too, love is also a decision to somebody that you love. Because why? Because remember, before you got married to a person, right, you were attracted to the person, right? You had emotional attraction.
So what happened to the attraction? Why must the woman have to impress the husband for the husband to be aroused? And then there must be something, because of a truth. If you look at those who really love themselves, it's supposed to come out flow natural. There shouldn't be that barrier of trying to entice. So it means if a man has to be enticed to have sex, it means that man, if he sees another woman that is carnally dressed outside, will definitely be enticed by the woman. So that is what it means.
That's where discipline comes in now. That's where discipline comes in. For instance now, somebody can cook food in your house. You will eat the food. When you go outside, because of discipline, you just say, sorry, I don't want this food, please take it back. So okay, it's discipline now. In the same way too, as we explain, if for instance now, you just imagine now a man that loves his wife, then the wife say you want to have, the wife just came out. Let's even flip it the other side. Imagine a wife now wants to have sex with the husband. The husband just came from bricklayer work. He has not even bath. He's smelling. And I said, I love the wife. I love my wife. My wife loves me. He said, let's have sex now. Without woman have sex with him, he's smelling, he's dirty. Maybe he even has mouth odor. That's why some of my wife, they don't even kiss again, because the man, when he's brushing, he doesn't even brush his tongue. He don't know how to brush it. We all do odor everywhere. It was we all dodge. So even if there's love, those things will not work anymore. The thing will not be working. Why? Because there's no cleanliness, there's no spontaneousness, there's nothing that's attracting the man. Just imagine now, a man wants to have sex with the wife, or the wife wants to have sex with the husband now. The wife just come with big rapper, tied rapper, no, nothing.
But these are things that our forefathers and
forefathers. Why are you not wearing long skirts? our foremothers too. You are wearing this clothes that used to shoot things for.
So now, what are the things you think a woman can bring on the decks after sex?
Okay.
What next?
So I think some of the things that a woman can bring, like in this generation now, the same school that men go to is the same school women go to. The same office, most of the time, the same office that men work is the same office that women work. So in this generation now, we find out that if most women now in this generation now, things have changed. That they're not even looking for a man that can give them money, because they know how to make money themselves. So for a man, I think one of the things you can bring into that relationship is attention. I mean, women, this one can never be overemphasized. Women love attention more than any other thing. You have to give them attention. As I know, for men, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and the other day, my wife and I were talking about something, and then we also realized that just because you are sitting together in the same place doesn't mean that two of you are giving the same attention. So somebody is in the parlor, somebody is in the other room. You know, before I used to think that as long as we're in the same space, even if we're on each other, we're okay. And I realized that it doesn't work that way. You can be in the same space, but as long as your spirit, soul, and body is not with her, not engaging her, not communicating with her, that is not attention for a woman. So that's one thing for a man you can bring into it. For a woman, what you can bring into that man's life, that's in that relationship, one of the things you should be able to bring yourself to a point where when the man wants to make decisions, you always want to get you involved. When he gets to a roadblock where he doesn't know what to do, he's trying to seek counsel on something, you should be the first person who will come and say, what do you think about ABCD? You know, since that you want to bring that kind of value so that he knows that, Kai, if I tell you someone about this thing, he will tell me exactly to do. That means you have to bring some level of wisdom, some level of decision making skill as well, and then knowing how to handle issues as well. I think these are some of the things that you can bring to that relationship. These are just a few. There are many more things.
Okay. Thank you for a contribution to tonight's show.
Thank you very much.
So for the women who always complain about their relationships and, what do you think? Like, for instance, if a lady is being asked for sex in a relationship, because from the case study, we can literally see that ladies who actually brought sex into the relationship later had issue with the guy. Those who did not still yield into sex in the relationship still had issues. So what do you think would be, how do we resolve these sexual problems in the relationships?
So now the thing is, what caused the problem for both parties? Was it the sex that caused the problem or something that caused the problem?
No, I'm just talking about the normal norms in the society. Okay. Just like the norm in the society that a lot of people will complain, okay, fine, initially we started the relationship without sex, and then he said if I don't give him sex, he's not going to continue with the relationship. So they yield into having sex with a man or with a woman. And at the end of the day, what happened? The relationship still tore apart.
All right, so what's next after sex? I'll just say a few things quickly. The first thing, if you have an issue, I think both of you should have a conversation about it and decide what kind of relationship you both want to have, and let it be clear. Let there be clarity on what exactly you want, what both of you want out of this relationship, and know exactly what are your values. Discuss your values and decide on your values. Don't let anybody talk you into what is against your values, whether it's your faith or whatever it is. Stick to it, and I think if you do that, you should know exactly where to take it next to, whether it's time to end it or whether it's time to continue or make adjustments in whatever both of you are doing together.
So thank you so much for joining me on this show tonight. So for those of you who have been having pressing questions on issues like, he asked for my body sexually, I gave it to him, and after all that I given to him, and then he checked out. And for those of you who say, yeah, eventually he asked me for sex, I didn't succumb to it, or I didn't yield to it, but at the end of the day, what happened? He ended the relationship. Any man who ends a relationship because he did not yield to his sexual desire was never there for your future. He was only there to satisfy his sexual desire. So you have to what? Pick your shoe and flee. That for those who had already given in their sexual, giving in to the sexual desire of the man, and yet he left you. He was actually there for that, not because he wants you for a keep. So after sex, what next? Now, if you must give in sex in any relationship, ensure that you are giving the sex with the sole aim of the desire and the love you have for the man, such that even if he breaks your heart, you know that yes, you've gone wrong. But if you ask for my opinion, I know what I'm about to say. A lot of you will say, no, for me, I got to test the waters before I know what I'm going into. Well, it's good for you to find out that the man, if the man is potent or impotent. It's good for you to find out if the man is a masturbator or not, because a lot of guys who masturbate, the woman will definitely suffer in the marriage sexually. And then it's also good for you to note that if you're going to test many waters sexually in the relationship, just know that whatever comes out of it, you are ready to face the rhythm of the game. So with this note, what's my advice to every one of you? Ensure if you're into a relationship, can do your findings sexually about the man's sexual libidos and all of that. It's okay to do that, but one thing, you should have self-discipline and ensure you don't indulge yourself into sexual immorality with the man, such that if he leaves you tomorrow, you will be offended that you have let go of something with the man, because sex actually brings bonding in every relationships and marriages. So after sex, what next? Now, sex is not all that a man needs in any relationship, okay? Even though it's one of the added addendums that can, beautify the relationship, is not all that a man wants. You can also bring your values into the relationship. You also bring your, that inbuilt virtue that God has embedded you with. You need to bring it on the table. What keeps a man? Sex is okay to hold a man, but what keeps a man is the extra values you are bringing into the relationship. So to end tonight's show, I will urge every one of you who have had one or two series, either good or bad series in your sexual relationship, tonight, after sex, what next in your relationship? Make sure you bring all that you are gifted with into your relationship. And guess what? If the man will not value you, bring value into your relationship, not just sex, and the man will value you. Stay blessed and God bless you. Till the next show. If you know this is your first time of joining my live show tonight, kindly go to all my social media handle and click the notification buttons, subscribe and follow buttons in every social media handle. Don't forget, this is your one and only favorite relationship talk pastor, Jennifer Tosin-K, aka your celebrity pastor. So come on, give a shout out to my amazing husband. Yay! Come on, be serious.
That's